Good morning, everyone. It is cold, cold, cold out today, and I thought I'd come on and start a new interchangeable, well, new insert for my, excuse me, interchangeable window. So it's going to be an Easter insert, and I wanted to come on a lot earlier than this, but I was busy creating another design. I'm almost done, and it is going to be adorable. I can't wait to get it finished up. I have a couple more elements and it's ready to cut and paint. So I want to say congratulations, Ohio State. Way to go, Buckeyes. Awesome, national champions. What a game. Love it. It's a great day. So let's get started painting this bunny. I'm going to paint it the buttermilk. I'm really liking the color for the Easter bunny. And I didn't put score lines on my ears, but I have now corrected the file. So there will be score lines because you're going to be gluing the inner part of the ears on. So it has been corrected. I hope everybody's staying warm. It is cold here. I mean, oof. And it's going to be worse tomorrow. So, I don't know. I might be painting again tomorrow. We will see. Time will tell. So you folks will have to let me know what you think about the interchangeable window. I absolutely love it. Very unique. It's different. And it's adorable. And there's just so many different ways that you can set up this interchangeable. And you can add stuff if you have shelf sitters or, you know, like the St. Patrick's Day one that I did. Even though there's a pot of gold, you know, on the windowsill. I always say that incorrectly. But if you had some gold coins laying around, you could lay that on the windowsill. If you had some shamrocks laying around, any type of anything, for St. Patrick's Day, you could lay that on the windowsill. You can lay it in front of the base of the window. Just for extra, you know. Hey, Lori, you working today? But you could stick that aside. I mean, there's just so many possibilities. And like with this Easter bunny, once it's all said and done, no, she must be at work. I can't remember her schedule. You could, yeah. Well, it's going to be cold when you leave at 6 o'clock. Ay, ay, ay. Hopefully the roads are not too bad for her, because she lives out in the country like me. But like for this Easter one, you can throw some of those plastic eggs down if you wanted. Oh, that was weird. I might have to check whatever that sound was. I don't know. Snickers um, said something to Alexa. I have no idea. She talks to Alexa all day long and makes Alexa do stuff. So Alexa plays music. Alexa plays news reports. You never know. I'm just going to try and go really light where these whiskers are, trying not to get paint into the engraved areas, but if I do, I'll dig them out. The key is, I feel, when you're going over like engraved or scored areas, one, when you take and dip your sponge into your paint, also, tap it off. Like kind of like what you would do for stenciling. And then just go on these areas really, really light. Just tap really light. And I'm going to probably go back and just like use a brush because, if you do get them in there, it's not good. A little hair. And then I did create valances for the windows. And there's 6 different styles. And that's actually a separate SVG file that you would have to purchase in addition to. I mean, it's not something you have to do, but it really does add to that window, I think. I do have DIY kits for the valances. You can purchase them on an individual basis. And they're priced differently because some valances are a little bit bigger than the other and a little bit more detailed. So it takes a little bit of extra time cutting on the laser. Or you can buy them as a set, full set, and save a little bit of money. So, and I will be painting a different style valance for this design. Yeah, what a game last night. You had me nervous, Ohio State, in the third quarter. You had me nervous. But you pulled it off. I mean, holy smokes, what a game. What a game. Also, too, with these characters, depending on my design, because I do have one design that has 2 characters looking out the window. And you would have to, with that, keep it the way it's designed. But you can put this on either side of the window. so you're not locked in. So that's, you know, kind of cool. You can do that. You don't have to have the banner on if you don't want. That particular piece had something hanging from the shutters, and that comes with the file, but it's not something that you have to choose to do. And this particular design, I can tell you right now, will not have anything hanging from the shutters, but it will have an extra element, and you'll see that as I complete pieces. And then too, you know, if, say like on the St. Patrick's Day, you didn't really want the banner on, you just wanted the lucky horseshoes hanging from the shutter. I mean, it comes with the banner, and if you get the DIY kit, it's going to come with the banner anyhow, but if you're one that does tiered trays, you could probably use that banner with the tiered tray. So that's something to think about. And my paint is drying really, really fast. It's gooping up. I'm just trying to get a good coat in there between the whiskers and next to the mouth. So I'm pretty excited about my interchangeable fence and interchangeable window. Definitely something different. I mean, there are interchangeable fences out there. I just think my fence is a little bit different. And this new thing that I'm working on for the fence is going to be just absolutely adorable. I'm really excited to get that finished up and get it cut and painted. I mean, it's sunny today, but that sun is deceptive. I think it was 2 degrees when I got up this morning. And I think it said it's 6 degrees now, but it feels like -6. And I was out there feeding the animals, and yeah, they're not kidding. They're not a kidding. feel sorry for people that are homeless. Sometimes I feel I can just get a better coat with a brush. I'm an old school painter, and I learned with a brush. It's kind of hard to break myself of that habit. Yeah, I don't know where all this scoopy stuff is coming on for my paint. This bunny should be a quick, easy paint if I can get a decent coat of this buttermilk on. I'm kind of fussy. I don't like blotchy. And I know it doesn't kind of show that it's blotchy in the camera, but in person for me it is, and it's just, that's a no-go for me. See, look at that. That's terrible. I mean, my paint's drying really, really fast. One. And this paint is a little bit older, so maybe it's drying out. It's starting to dry out a little bit. Because every time I dip my brush in, I'm getting gunk. And I'm upstairs, and it's pretty warm upstairs. Heat rises. I'm just making sure I have a pretty decent coat around the outside edge. Because like I said, I am going to glue the inside part of the ears on top, so. If you have a flat brush that has a pretty good chiseled edge, you can go in these areas like this pretty easy. And what I mean by a good chiseled edge is, see, that's not frayed out like this is frayed out. See how that's frayed out? I mean, it's from not taking care of the brush, lots of paint up in the ferrule, not getting it out. So you really want to get, if you get paint up in this ferrule, you want to get out. And I can see that it's blurry in the camera, but yeah, you want to clean your brushes out really good and avoid getting it up in the ferrule. Because it makes a huge difference. I'm gonna have to go downstairs and turn the heat down. Because it is really drying my paint quick. So I might do that before I continue on. I bet you the fans for Ohio State were happy to be down in Georgia, where it's probably a lot warmer than it is here. But they gotta come back to reality. Terrible. So look at that. And you're not going to really see it anyhow because it's going to be, you know, behind the window, but it's just not how I kind of do things. Plus the sun is beating in on my window right now, which is a nice thing, but see, I actually have a little bit of paint still up in here, even though I'm rinsing it out. So I'm going to take I have some brush cleaner that I'm going to use. And just put up in there and get the water out. I mean the paint out. And rinse it off really good. Honestly, my edges don't look bad. Just that one right in here. I'm just using a wet wipe to go around my edges. I touched that once, I'm gonna have to go back. I probably shouldn't have been doing this right now because I gotta highlight and I will get paint on the sides. So I'll probably be doing this again. But I just wanted to get the paint off my hands. All right, I'm going to go downstairs and turn down my heat, and while I'm at it, I might as well empty my water because it looks like milk. So I will be back. that's going to help a little bit. I don't know. My paint is drying really, really fast. So I'm going to do a little highlighting with some of the white. I know it takes several coats. And I'm going to try and go for a wider float this time. And I'm using one of my newer brushes. And I can tell right now it likes to hold the water. I don't know how I feel about this wider brush. I have a problem having too much water in my brush as it is. And this ain't helping things. I'm going to do wider around the outside of the face, where the cheek area would be. Need to go over that for sure. Yeah, it holds the water, that's for sure. It's a nice brush. Very easy to float with. But when you have a tendency to have too much water in your brush like I do, I'm gonna have to really work on that. Terrible habit I have. Army hands are busy today. Yeah, turning down that heat did not help me. A little fuzzy. And I don't think you're gonna see that. No. Hello. I know I want the tips of the ears to be a little bit wider and brighter. So I'm just going to walk the float down a little bit. And if I need to, I'll come back, and after this is really dry, I'll dry brush. All right, I'm gonna let that dry really, really good, because I need to shade. So I'll go ahead and start on the nose and the ear inserts. I'm gonna use a color called Poodle Skirt Pink. I really like that color. It's not too bright. It's a nice color of pink. Good morning. Okay. Let's see about doing a little shading. I like to use antique white, even though they recommend yellow ochre. I don't care for that color. I've used it, but I don't care for it. For shading the buttermilk. And I think probably why they recommend that color is, you know, buttermilk does have a yellow cast to it, but it's just not my thing. So I'm just shading behind his ears, and then I'll shade under his head. Yeah, this is a really good floating brush. I have a smaller version that I bought first, and I really liked it, so I thought I would order some larger ones, and I'm glad I did. So I'm gonna shade the bottom of these ears. I'm gonna go up kind of far with bubblegum pink. And then what I'll do is I'll just brush the tips with some pink chiffon. I'm not gonna go around the edges. Kind of going up like about a half an inch to an inch. Sometimes this pink chiffon, you gotta do it a couple times. And all I have to do is paint his eyes and dot him, and he's good to go. Felt that I had too much on there. I'll go back and hit it again. It's difficult to paint today. So we'll let that dry and see. I might have to go over that a little bit more. I mean, this is a very, very light pink. Let that dry and go over it again. Okay. Let's work on these eyes. With this paint drying as fast as it is, it could be tough going today. Really can be. So this ought to be interesting. Hard to move the paint around. Yeah, it's just scooping up really quick. I just try and take my time when I'm painting these eyes. Because if you have an oops moment, it's kind of tough to cover it up on this light paint. And I like to turn my piece as I go. And there I got a little bit too far out. Darn it. I'll have to see if I can touch that up a little bit. That's actually too much paint. And I do mix a little bit of water in my black paint. I mean, just a little bit. Yeah, I see a couple areas I need to just try and touch up on that other eye. I'm pretty fussy when it comes to painting my eyes. Because if you miss your mark, you end up making your eyes bigger and bigger and bigger. If you try and straighten out the line that you missed, it just ends up getting bigger and bigger before you know it. Let's see if I can touch up a couple of those spots. Oh, crud. Did exactly what I didn't want to do. I'm struggling with these eyes today. Okay. Let's see how these ears and nose look. See if I want to go a little bit higher on the shading. I kind of think I do. Kind of curve it a little bit. Now I just gotta dot these I's and we're probably good to go. Got that a little bit too close to the edge, but I'm not gonna mess with it. I don't know why that doesn't want to cover right there. It's interesting. Might have to dry brush on there. I think that's what I'll have to do after that dries. Because it's like the paint is lifted, it's weird. So in the meantime, start painting the basket. And I'm gonna use that color, Desert Sand. I did really like that on that other basket. I actually redid this basket. I have a different pattern on it. For when I did my fence, and I actually like that a lot better. But I had this already cut because I created this design 3-4 months ago, along with that St. Patrick's Day. They've been created for a long time. I'm not going to worry about a great coat because this is a basket. It's weaved and it's a wicker and it's kind of blotchy anyways. Just want to make sure I get paint everywhere I need to go. Oh, it's a bark fest. You must be barking at the cats. Why am I painting that? Oh well. I don't know why I'm painting that. Because this is going to go over top of it. I did it a little bit different this time around. Just to create another layer. good enough. Yeah, it's really drying out my sponges too. The paint is drying on my sponges, something terrible. Okay. Well, let's glue his ears and nose on. And he will be done. Just check my edges. They're pretty good. This isn't bad right here, but I'm pretty good about keeping the paint off the edges. Now with these ears, before I actually glue them, there's two ways you could have them up a little bit further if you wanted. Okay, you could go like that if you wanted, which I don't know if I like that, but you can do that. Or you could put it all the way down to the score lines, which is what I'm gonna choose to do. It has to be your personal preference. But he's done. I mean, you could add some white lines and dots if you wanted on the ears, around the face. If you wanted to. I'm just not one of those type of people. But that's something you can do. But he's done. Now I know last time when I dry brushed on here, I mixed the desert sand and I mixed cocoa when I dry brushed. Because I didn't want it really, really dark, and I liked how that turned out. And also too, I kind of want the shading to be a little bit lighter, and then I'm going to go back and float with just cocoa only. So I'm gonna try and mix some paint and hopefully it lasts a little bit. Because it is just drawing something terrible. I know I want a little bit more cocoa in there than that. So hopefully this is dark enough. We will see. And I'm going to go over these little center strips, and I'm okay with that because I'll go back and paint it over them again. And I'm just going to rub back and forth. Just make sure you take off that paint. I mean, I'm really loading up my brush, but then I'm really pushing this brush into my napkin and taking off the paint. And with this paint drying as fast as it is today, it's a little bit difficult. And then I just brush back and forth lightly. It might not seem like that when you're watching the video, but it's very, I'm very gentle. Yeah, this is the worst it's been for paint drying on my plate. I'll see there I didn't get enough paint off. I don't know why there's such a big gap. I'm gonna have to look at that again. Because there's eggs. That's why. Alright, well that makes sense, and I'm not gonna worry about it. And I know I'm gonna take this brush downstairs and clean it. I take my water because this paint is just drying so fast today. And this is a very good brush that I paid a decent amount of money for. And I don't want to ruin it. So, with that being said, I will be back shortly and we will continue on. do a little highlighting and a little shading. And then I'm gonna probably have to wrap this up. I can't be on here any longer than a quarter after. But I do wanna go over these little centerpieces with the desert sand. And then I'll go back and I'll highlight them. But I wanna get them to the original color of the basket. That way it'll make the shading stick out a little bit more. See, by going over this, though, it kind of just breaks up that shading a little bit. And then when I highlight it, it's gonna make it stick out even more. But see how just going over these little, I don't know what you want to call them, slats, whatever. and bringing them back to the original color of the basket. Just, oh, why am I even going down in here? Oh well, let's have it. It just changes, it's changing the look of this basket. It's giving it more dimension. So I need the buttermilk to highlight. I just kind of want like a thin line, and I know I always have to go over this twice. I'm just kind of going down the center just to bring some more brightness to that area. It just lightens up that center a little bit more. Oh, that's bright. But see, that's just starting to add like a little bit of brightness to this. I know the eggs are going to cover that, but I'd just rather be safe than sorry, so I don't have to come back and do it again. It's kind of just creating a different look. Going on the top and bottom like this. Now I'm going to go down those little strips with some highlighting. Hopefully, I'm not sure about this little brush that I got, how I feel about it. I mean, even this paint is drying in these brushes. I'm gonna have to make sure I do extra cleaning. Snickies is down there calling my cat. And now the dog. Alright. Now I know I want to shade with some cocoa on each side of those little bars. And that'll just kind of make the shading pop a little bit. And now that I think about it, I do want to highlight on the outer edge of this. Too much water. Because what that does is it introduces another color in, but it also makes that shading a little bit more distinct. You might not be able to see that in the camera. As well as I can see it in person. Just kind of darkens up that shading a little bit. do think I'm going to do a little shading. Kind of, I think I'll just let it be. I do think that I want to do some light shading underneath where this part of the basket will go. I'll just add a different look. I'll just kind of cast a little shadow. That's all. And I'm about ready to wrap this up today. Maybe I'll even go around these eggs. Just so it casts a little bit more shadow. Boy, Snickers is on a roll today. She is just talking up a storm. Need to go back over there a little bit. Darken it up. And I think no, I'm just gonna let it be. Let it be. All right, I think that's it for me for today. I may come back on later, I don't know yet. But as of right now, I've got something that I've got to take care of. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you want to type in #replay, let me know you watched it after the fact. That would be wonderful. If you don't, that's no big deal. So we'll get this finished. If I don't come back on later on today, maybe tomorrow, definitely over the weekend for sure. So until then, take care. Bye-bye.